The anesthesia hadn't fully taken. I heard every word. "His wife's waiting?" the doctor asked. "Yes," the nurse replied softly. "Good. Give her this envelope after. Tell her I'm sorry." I didn't move, didn't breathe. My heart pounded under the sterile drape, but I kept my face slack, my body still. The needle in my arm burned faintly as the sedative deepened, but my mind refused to drown. What envelope? Why her? Why sorry? When I woke in recovery, the world came back slow. White walls, humming machines, the faint sting of betrayal I couldn't yet name. My wife arrived an hour later, all warmth and rehearsed concern. She touched my hand, smiled like she meant it. I watched her eyes instead. They darted, just once, to her purse. When she left to get the nurse, I opened it. The envelope, thin, handwritten. The first line froze my blood. Then I called my lawyer. I read the letter 3 times before I believed it. The doctor, my doctor, the one who treated me for years. He wasn't apologizing for a medical mistake. He was apologizing for an affair. "Forgive me," he wrote. "It started after your last surgery. I never meant to love her, but she said you were already gone inside. I thought you knew." Every word was a knife, precise and deliberate. There was no anger yet, just disorientation. 7 years of marriage, trust, laughter that now sounded artificial in memory. Every late shift she mentioned, every night I thought she was studying or meeting a friend, it all rearranged itself in my mind, forming a new shape, one I didn't recognize. And under it all, the line that sealed it. She told me you wouldn't live past the year. I almost laughed. She had planned for my death. But I lived. The next week, I said nothing. I healed, pretended to forget. Let her fuss over me, touch my forehead, pour me tea like a loyal wife. I watched her through quiet eyes, taking inventory of every movement, every lie she wrapped in tenderness. I hired a private investigator, discreet, expensive, worth it. Within days, I had phone records, hotel receipts, text exchanges that read like poetry written in deceit. Pictures, too. Her car parked outside his house. Her reflection caught in his window. Each image stripped something from me. Not love, that was already dead. It stripped my hesitation. I began studying her like a subject, how she spoke, what she hid, where her eyes lingered when she lied. I wanted to understand why. But why is a useless word when the truth is simple. She wanted more. More attention, more thrill, more power. I didn't confront her. I just planned, methodically. By the end of the month, my lawyer had copies of everything. My accounts were separated, my will was revised, my assets protected. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a man anymore. I saw calculation wrapped in calm. The opportunity came quietly. A dinner, just the 2 of us. Candles, wine, music she thought was romantic. I waited until she laughed, really laughed, and then slid the letter across the table. She looked at it, confused. Then her smile faltered. I watched the blood drain from her face. Her lips parted. Where did you get this?" I didn't answer. I just said, "Read it." She did. Hands trembling, eyes darting up at me between lines. When she reached the end, she tried to speak, but no sound came out. Her composure shattered in silence. The woman who once screamed, who once commanded rooms, now sat hollow and shaking. All I said was, "He said he's sorry. Are you?" She didn't reply. Tears began to fall, but I felt nothing. It's strange, watching someone realize they've been seen, completely. No lies left to hide behind. That was the moment she broke. I stood, dropped a small folder beside her wine glass. Inside were the documents. Divorce papers, property transfers, legal statements. All done, all clean. "You'll keep the house," I said, "and the guilt." Her eyes snapped up. You can't just... I already did. She reached for me, but I stepped back. For years I'd been reaching toward her while she reached for someone else. Now the distance between us was the only honest thing left. I left her there, surrounded by everything she thought she wanted. The silence behind me was the purest sound I'd ever heard. Weeks later, I passed the hospital again. The same doctor had resigned. Rumor was he'd moved abroad. I didn't care. Betrayal doesn't need an audience to end. It just needs clarity. Sometimes revenge isn't about destruction. It's about removal. Extracting yourself from their chaos, leaving them to rot and the ruins they built. I mailed her the letter again, framed, behind glass. Underneath, a note. Truth doesn't heal. It exposes. Then I stopped thinking about her, stopped remembering her laughter, her scent, her lies. When people ask about my scar, I just tell them it reminds me of what survives anesthesia and what doesn't.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.